This video is for educational purposes. Milwaukee is the most populous city in the U.S. state of Wisconsin and the county seat of Milwaukee County. With a population of 577,222 at the 2020 census, Milwaukee is the 31st most populous city in the United States, and the 5th most populous city in the Midwest. It is the central city of the Milwaukee metropolitan area, the 40th most populous metro area in the U.S. Milwaukee is categorized as a Gamma- city by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network, with a regional GDP of over $102 billion in 2020. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. Milwaukee is an ethnically and culturally diverse city. However, it continues to be one of the most racially segregated cities, largely as a result of early, 20th century redlining. Its history was heavily influenced by German immigrants in the 19th century, and it continues to be a center for German-American culture, specifically becoming well known for its brewing industry. In recent years, Milwaukee has undergone several development projects, some of which have added to the city's skyline. Major additions to the city since the turn of the 21st century include the Wisconsin Center, American Family Field, the Hop streetcar system, an expansion to the Milwaukee Art Museum, Milwaukee Repertory Theater, the Bradley Symphony Center, and Discovery World, as well as major renovations to the UW-Milwaukee Panther Arena. Fiserv Forum opened in late 2018 and hosts sporting events and concerts. Since 1968, Milwaukee has been home to Summerfest, a large music festival. Milwaukee is home to the Medical College of Wisconsin, UW-Milwaukee, Marquette University, MSOE, and several other colleges. The city is represented in two of the four major professional sports leagues, the Bucks of the NBA and the Brewers of the MLB. Milwaukee is home to the Fortune 500 companies of Northwestern Mutual, WEC Energy Group, Rockwell Automation, and Harley-Davidson. The etymological origin of what is today officially known as the City of Milwaukee is disputed. As Wisconsin academic Virgil J. the Vogel has said, the name Milwaukee is not difficult to explain, yet there are a number of conflicting claims made concerning it. One theory says it comes from the Anishinaabe Ojibwe language word Menoaking, meaning good land, or words in closely related languages that mean the same. These included Menomonee and Potawatomi. Another theory is that it stems from the Meskwaki or Algonquian languages, whose term for gathering place is Manawaki. The city of Milwaukee itself claims that the name is derived from Manawak, a Potawatomi word for council grounds. Some sources have claimed that Milwaukee stems specifically from an Algonquian word meaning the good land, something popularized by a line read by Alice Cooper in the 1992 comedy film Wayne's World. Regardless of its provenance, the name of the future city was spelled in a wide variety of ways prior to 1844. In particular, people living west of the Milwaukee River preferred to use the modern-day spelling, while those east of the river often called it Milwaukee. Other spellings included Melioki in 1679, Milwaukee in 1679, Meliki in 1684, Milwarik in 1699, Milwaukee in 1761, Milwaukee in 1779, Milwaukee in 1817, Milwaukee in 1820, Milwaukee in 1821, Milwaukee Sentinel headline until November 30, 1844. Milwaukee, November 30, 1844, onwards. Indigenous cultures lived along the waterways for thousands of years. The first recorded inhabitants of the Milwaukee area were various Native American tribes, the Menomonee, Fox, Mascoutin, Sauk, Potawatomi, and Ojibwe, all Algic Algonquian peoples, and the Ho-Chunk, Winnebago, a Siouan people. Many of these people had lived around Green Bay before migrating to the Milwaukee area about the time of European contact. In the second half of the 18th century, the Native Americans living near Milwaukee played a role in all the major European wars on the American continent. During the French and Indian War, a group of Ojibways and Potawatomis from the far Lake Michigan, the area from Milwaukee to Green Bay, joined the French-Canadian Daniel Leonard de Beaujeu at the Battle of the Monongahela. In the American Revolutionary War, the Native Americans around Milwaukee were some of the few groups to ally with the rebel Continentals. After the American Revolutionary War, the Native Americans fought the United States in the Northwest Indian War as part of the Council of Three Fires. During the War of 1812, they held a council in Milwaukee in June 1812, which resulted in their decision to attack Chicago in retaliation against American expansion. This resulted in the Battle of Fort Dearborn on August 15, 1812, the only known armed conflict in the Chicago area. This battle convinced the American government to remove these groups of Native Americans from their indigenous land. After being attacked in the Black Hawk War in 1832, the Native Americans in Milwaukee signed the 1833 Treaty of Chicago with the United States. In exchange for ceding their lands in the area, they were to receive monetary payments and lands west of the Mississippi in Indian Territory. Europeans had arrived in the Milwaukee area prior to the 1833 Treaty of Chicago. French missionaries and traders first passed through the area in the late 17th and 18th centuries. Alexis Laframboise, coming from Michilimackinac, now in Michigan, settled a trading post in 1785 and is considered the first resident of European descent in the Milwaukee region. One story on the origin of Milwaukee's name says, "One day during the 30s of the last century, 1800s, a newspaper calmly changed the name to Milwaukee, and Milwaukee it has remained until this day." The spelling Milwaukee lives on in Milwaukee, Oregon, named after the Wisconsin city in 1847, before the current spelling was universally accepted. Milwaukee has three founding fathers: Solomon Juneau, Byron Kilbourne, and George H. Walker. Solomon Juneau was the first of the three to come to the area, in 1818. He founded a town called Juneauside, or Juneautown, that began attracting more settlers. In competition with Juneau, Byron Kilbourne established Kilbournetown west of the Milwaukee River. He ensured the roads running toward the river did not join with those on the east side. This accounts for the large number of angled bridges that still exist in Milwaukee today. Further, Kilbourne distributed maps of the area which only showed Kilbournetown, implying Juneautown did not exist or the river's east side was uninhabited and thus undesirable. The third prominent developer was George H. Walker. He claimed land to the south of the Milwaukee River, along with Juneautown, where he built a log house in 1834. This area grew and became known as Walker's Point. The first large wave of settlement to the areas that would later become Milwaukee County and the city of Milwaukee began in 1835, following removal of the tribes in the Council of Three Fires. Early that year it became known that Juneau and Kilbourne intended to lay out competing town sites. By the year's end both had purchased their lands from the government and made their first sales. There were perhaps 100 new settlers in this year, mostly from New England and other eastern states. On September 17, 1835, the first election was held in Milwaukee. The number of votes cast was 39. By 1840, the three towns had grown, along with their rivalries. There were intense battles between the towns, mainly Juneautown and Kilbournetown, which culminated with the Milwaukee Bridge War of 1845. Following the Bridge War, on January 31, 1846, the towns were combined to incorporate as the city of Milwaukee, and elected Solomon Juneau as Milwaukee's first mayor. Milwaukee began to grow as a city as high numbers of immigrants, mainly German, made their way to Wisconsin during the 1840s and 1850s. Scholars classify German immigration to the United States in three major waves, and Wisconsin received a significant number of immigrants from all three. The first wave from 1845 to 1855 consisted mainly of people from southwestern Germany. The second wave from 1865 to 1873 concerned primarily northwestern Germany, while the third wave from 1880 to 1893 came from northeastern Germany. In the 1840s, the number of people who left German-speaking lands was 385,434, in the 1850s it reached 976,072, and an all-time high of 1.4 million immigrated in the 1880s. In 1890, the 2.78 million first-generation German Americans represented the second-largest foreign-born group in the United States. Of all those who left the German lands between 1835 and 1910, 90% went to the United States, most of them traveling to the Mid-Atlantic states and the Midwest. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. See you in the next one.